Léon at the Olympic School. Volume 7, The Games. Chapter 1. Morning had dawned over Palmaru with a light mist, as if even the sky wanted to testify to the importance of this day. At the foot of the imposing stone building, young athletes had gathered, their hearts beating with excitement and apprehension. They were no longer ordinary students, but representatives of an institution that had shaped their character, refined their talents, and instilled in them a profound sense of duty. Today, some of them were heading to Paris for the Olympic Games, ready to prove to the world that the teachings of Palmaru went far beyond mere sports performance. The excitement at the foot of the bus was palpable. The young athletes of Palmaru stood there with a spark of excitement and a touch of nervousness in their eyes. The morning sun cast long rays over the esplanade, illuminating the faces turned towards Professor Stéphane Roux. For the first time he appeared less austere, his mask of strictness slightly fading to reveal an unexpected warmth. Léon Renart stood in the front line, his heart pounding. His former teacher stepped forward and in an almost solemn gesture placed a firm hand on the young man's shoulder. "Make us proud, Léon," he said, his voice grave but softened by a rare inflection. "Although, after all these years, I no longer doubt that you are capable." Léon felt a shiver run through him. Stéphane Roux's words resonated in him like a complex melody, a mix of pride and pressure. He nodded, his gaze meeting that of his teacher. Around him, his friends felt similar emotions. Élodie Granier, bubbling with enthusiasm, received an almost imperceptible smile from the professor. "Élodie, I know you have always fought to prove your worth. Continue to show everyone what you are truly capable of." She broke into a radiant smile, her heart leaping at the thought of the upcoming adventure. Paul Vasseur, usually stoic, felt his heart beat faster when Stéphane Roux addressed him. "Paul, your strength lies not only in your muscles but in your mind. Never forget that." Paul nodded, feeling a surge of pride. Finally, the professor turned to Damien Malesherbes. The young man, often arrogant, was for once silent, absorbing the words with newfound gravity. "Damien, you have learned to surpass your own limits and to work with others. Continue on this path." Damien, with a slight nod, expressed his acceptance, aware of the journey he had made. A few steps away, Léa Legrand stood apart, emotion visible on her face. Léon, too, felt torn. Léa, who was taking her exams this year, could not accompany them. She approached him, her eyes filled with emotion. "Léon," she began, but words failed her. Their separation for the next fortnight would be a trial for both of them. Léon already felt the void her absence would create. Her usual support would be sorely missed in the difficult moments to come. For Léa, it was the fear that this experience would change the Léon she had known since childhood, the one she had learned to love for his altruism and who had been so protective. They exchanged a look heavy with meaning, each drawing strength from the other. She approached Léon, her eyes shining. "Léon, take care of yourself over there. I know you're ready, but it doesn't make our separation any easier." Léon gently took Leah's hand, squeezing it softly. "I'll miss you, Leah, but I'll come back with stories and hopefully medals." She gave a sad smile, and before she could respond, the bus roared to life, signaling the imminent departure. Lee withdrew reluctantly, letting Léon rejoin his teammates. The bus doors closed with a dull thud, cutting off the last images of Palmaru. Inside, the young athletes exchanged determined looks. It was the beginning of something big, something that went beyond their expectations and hopes. As the bus drove away, the familiar landscapes blended into a mosaic of memories. Conversations slowly animated, each sharing their expectations and fears for this Olympic adventure. The road leading them to the Paris Olympic Games was a transition, a bridge between their past at Palmaru and their future on the world's greatest sports stages. Professor Stéphane Roux, sitting at the front, observed them in silence. His heart, hidden behind years of discipline and rigor, beat with a mix of pride and apprehension for these young people he had seen grow and evolve. It was their moment to shine, to show the world what it truly meant to be an athlete from Palmaru. Léon, Élodie, Paul, and Damien turned one last time to look back at the school that had trained and shaped them, a silent promise of success and victorious return in their hearts. They moved towards their destiny, ready to face the ultimate challenges of the Olympic Games. The journey to Paris had been punctuated with lively discussions and introspective silences. The young athletes oscillated between palpable excitement and silent doubts. As the bus finally entered the Olympic Village, a sense of solemnity gradually settled among them. The Olympic Village spread out before them, a dazzling array of ultra-modern sports facilities and futuristic buildings. The afternoon sun reflected off the glass surfaces, flooding the area with an almost unreal light. All around them, athletes in sportswear passed by, representing nations from around the world. The atmosphere was charged with vibrant energy, a fusion of anticipation and competitiveness that seemed palpable in the air. Léon and Damien slightly separated from the main group, their steps instinctively leading them towards the central arena. The two young men stopped for a moment, silently contemplating the imposing structure. It's incredible," murmured Léon, his voice filled with involuntary reverence. His eyes shone, reflecting the majesty of the stadium before him. Damien nodded, sharing the same sense of grandeur. "Yes, it's like a dream come true," he replied, his usual condescending tone replaced by rare sincerity. For once, the rival in him faded, giving way to a comrade sharing the same wonder. They exchanged a knowing look, each fully realizing the significance of their presence here, not only as athletes but as cadets of their national delegation. The weight of this responsibility added an extra layer to their pride and anxiety. Élodie, meanwhile, could not contain her enthusiasm. Naturally sociable, she rushed towards the other athletes, her radiant smile attracting attention. She quickly engaged in conversation with athletes from various disciplines, sharing her admiration and enthusiasm with contagious energy. Paul, however, stood back, his shoulders slightly hunched. The immensity of the Olympic Village and the presence of older, more experienced athletes brought out a sense of inferiority in him. Each of Élodie's laughs, each admiring look she cast at these sports icons, resonated in him like a painful echo of his own insecurities. A twinge of jealousy pierced his heart as he watched Élodie marvel at these idols. While Élodie continued to mingle with others, her crystalline laughter ringing in the air, Paul found himself alone with his thoughts. The voices of the athletes and the constant hum of surrounding activity seemed to fade, leaving an oppressive silence in his mind. Léon, noticing his friend's isolation, approached him. "Paul, are you okay?" he asked softly, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. Paul shrugged, trying to mask his trouble. "Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, you know?" Léon nodded, perfectly understanding. "It's true, Paul, but each of us has something to offer. Don't forget that." Damien, joining them, added, "It's normal to feel that way, but remember, we're here because we deserve it. We've worked hard to get here." The words of his friends slightly warmed Paul's heart. He took a deep breath, trying to dispel his doubts. Their comforting presence reminded him that, despite appearances, they were all in the same boat, facing the unknown together. In the evening, after settling into their quarters, the four friends met in the common room. The atmosphere was more relaxed, the initial excitement having given way to reassuring camaraderie. Élodie, always energetic, suggested a little outing to further explore the Olympic Village. "Come on, it will do us good to see what the place looks like before the competitions start," she said with a mischievous wink. Léon, Paul, and Damien agreed, letting themselves be carried away by her enthusiasm. Together, they wandered through the bustling alleys, discovering the wonders and intricacies of this unique Olympic Village. As they marveled at the different pavilions and facilities, they understood that this place was much more than just a competition space. It was a symbol of unity and sporting excellence, a place where their dream of glory could become reality.